caught me mid ninja meditation. Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Nightmare Road. Of course, I'm one of your hosts, Decon, here with a very dark and soupy. I said soupy.
Rabbit soup.
Yeah. And today's episode is, I don't even know, like I was like, it's a great one. Who loves child abuse? No, you think child abuse is fun? Wait, he's celebrity. So today's episode is on child stars, and not all of them, of course. We just selected a handful of child stars, and it's kind of like how the industry just kind of just fucks them up and then just lets them go. You know, it's almost
some are on their way back, so it's they're getting better.
Really?
Yeah.
Have you seen the eyebrow?
Okay, look. Some of them are getting better. Okay. We hope that we.
All right. Well then, shut your optimism. So no, I really hope that some of them are getting better, like Orlando Brown. He's obviously doing well.
Apparently, he's trying.
So. That's a crazy one.
Yeah.
So are we gonna? You want to start with him?
We can, yeah.
So Orlando Brown was, if you guys don't know, he was he was Tiger in Major Payne. He was on some Disney shows. He was on That's So Raven.
Yeah, he was Eddie.
He was Eddie on That's So Raven. And I really don't know like what happened. It was almost like he went away for a little bit, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then do you have pictures of him?
I have some like old pictures. So okay, these are like more, like when he was kind of okay, he was still in his he's always been a little
that's when he was okay.
Yeah,
he looks fucking insane.
Yeah, well, so he's a little, I told you he's always been a little bit out there. He was, he wasn't a kid anymore when he was he was a kid when he was okay, which is the majority of what happened like with him was after he left Disney.
Yeah, and and he was, man, what's sad is that he was this little kid who was so beloved, like in Major Payne, Major, do you remember that movie?
I remember the movie. Earlier when we talked about it, that I looked at the picture, I kind of remember. It's just I haven't seen that movie in so long.
Oh, he does a great dance at the end, like when they're doing the cadet,
Mm-hmm.
presentation, and he does like the Michael Jackson, woo, because Damon Wayans in that one, Major Payne, dances like Michael Jackson. You ever seen that, Major Payne?
Yeah, it's been a really long time.
Yeah. What we have here is a failure to communicate.
Tell him to come out from behind the camera.
Yeah, hey, Damon Wayans, stop banging that lady that's not your wife. And I don't want to complete this puzzle anymore. I'm sick of it.
Horrible. That story.
So, do you have that clip?
I don't. I was gonna get it, and then
yeah, so stuff happens. So Damon Wayans is, I think he's still a great actor, and like he's pretty funny. He's a funny dude. Damon Wayans was in the movie Major Payne, of course. He was the star of it, and there was this actor Orlando Brown. He's this little kid, right? And he talked about how nice he was to him, and a lot of people treated him kind of bad. That the little kid, they treated him bad, but he was always nice to him, and he had, what?
Why do you think that was?
That they treated him bad? I really don't. I think that
he was so small
in Hollywood, right? Showbiz. So I think that kids are seen almost not even like people, they're just seen as things, right? And you may not always, view them as like, okay, this kid had feelings. You're like, hey, you thing number 4, come over here. And to a kid, that's very damaging to his self-esteem, and they may require a little bit more. And then the people become very impatient, or they see them as uncooperative. And when you have a, like a dirt bike that no longer starts, you don't treat them the best, right? Like if they're having issues, that's how they view kids. That's how they view human beings, but especially kids,
They're
because
just pieces of property.
they're just pieces of property, and they're a little bit harder to work with. They may be a little bit harder to get them to cooperate the way you want. So I think that they treat them harsher. So, and when you have that reputation, like when they're like, oh, this kid's hard to work with, everybody already knows the drill. There he comes, oh, hey, I heard you're difficult to work with. Shut the fuck up and do what I say.
Yeah.
So he talked about how he was treated bad by the industry, and how Damon Wayans was nice to him. Like he was nice. He went over to his house and had like dinner at his with his family. His wife was really nice, and and he was always if you guys are familiar with the Wayans brothers, except for I think Keenan. I'm not entirely sure. He's like the oldest. I don't know his family life, but all of them lived a little bit more chaotic. Like there's like 50 of the Wayans brothers, but he was the one that seemed more settled. He had his family. His son acts. His son is in the movies, and I think he's on TV shows too. So he always had that the stability of the group. So Orlando tells this story. Orlando tells this story that when he was on the set of Major Payne.
By the way, when he's telling this story, he's like on the verge of tears.
Yeah,
he's on actually did like affect him.
Yeah, like it was. So he tells the story about how he got him a puzzle and like some little things like here's a puzzle and he says I'll be right back, and then the actress of the movie, who was Hillary in Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, which also
she got him the puzzle.
Yeah, she got him the puzzle, and so he knew her too for years. I mean, since he was really little, because she was on the set of the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. So she goes into Damon Wayans' trailer, and it begins to. Yep. Okay. So in Universal Studios, there used to be
the trailer, by the way.
The what?
He's in the trailer too.
Yeah, he's in the trailer. So, have you guys ever seen? Have you guys, the audience, communicate telepathically? So in California, in like 1992, 1993, there was the Northridge earthquake, and it was a gigantic earthquake, right? It demolished things. So Universal Studios, after the whole thing happened, they had a ride that simulates the earthquake. So you got into this little cart and you moved, and it started to shake violently, and it took you through the tracks, and you're in a parking garage, and it starts to collapse, and then you had to get away, and it had like basically, if you have PTSD because of that earthquake, this is the great way for you to lose your shit. By the end of it, your mind's in a different dimension. So the point I'm trying to make with that long story is that imagine being in that ride. Only Damon Wayans is on top of Hillary Banks. So. And then it really affected him. He's like, he cheated on his wife. He's like, oh, you cheated.
He apologizes to him also in that interview. He's like, I'm sorry, man, but you cheated.
You cheated. And then he's, bring up Hillary from Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Actually, bring up Hillary in Major Payne.
Okay, let me get a picture. Beef tips away.
Beef tips. Yeah. So that's it. So yeah, that's gorgeous. Anyway, so Damon Wayans, right? He goes.
Not a good excuse to cheat on your spouse.
No, not at all. I mean, so the fact, damn, that's gotta be so shitty, right? Like, how do you, like, oh, you go?
How are you? Why get married?
Yeah, like so you go home, and she's like, oh, how was the movie, honey? Like. In my head, Damon Wayans is still in character. He's like, "It was fine, woman."
Well, that's how he, like justified it. It wasn't him.
Yeah, it wasn't him. It was Major Payne. Major Payne banged her, not me.
Yeah, not me.
So, anyway, so that's one of the things that he had in his childhood. He witnessed this, and then as his progression, like almost like climbing into the hole further down. His what would you call that? His accusations?
Well,
Like
he went through. He did. There was more stuff before his accusations. Came like he got arrested
yeah,
multiple times for like DWI,
theft.
possession, theft,
What do you think he stole?
domestic violence, maybe
Like an
puzzles. Who knows?
like an yeah, like puzzle. I was gonna say an army uniform. Imagine he stole one of those wooden puzzles so
He
that the
stole that
kid doesn't
trailer
eat
that was
them.
in a
Yeah.
rock. I have no idea. I don't think it said when I was like reading, but it was. I don't think it was anything crazy because he would just go to. I think he would just go to jail for like a
He's like,
couple
all he had
days.
is this fucking puzzle.
Yeah, that's. I mean, oh god. Okay. Arrested
So
domestic violence. He did, abuse one of his ex girlfriends. I don't know if he did it multiple times with like multiple people, but there was one that she, called cops on him and all that.
yeah, that she was like, holy shit, you know.
Yeah, no
So
good.
no good. So that all that stuff happened, and then he starts saying these things. For example, he gives this very colorful, um, what would you say, description of him and Raven,
Hmm.
the girl from The View,
Yeah, when
who
they were
apparently,
kids,
yeah, they were teenagers, right? They were
they were
kids.
teenagers.
And then did pull up that interview. Beef tips.
What interview? Which one?
This one where he says, he was like, so me and Raven, we like, and he starts making all these sounds. You never seen that?
No.
I mean, I told you in the first interview. I mean, she gave me, and then I gave her some. I do, yeah.
So he gives that strange interview, right? Like, this is fucking weird. And so then you begin to see like more and more, and it starts getting darker and darker. And he begins to make accusations that, Kevin Hart, which, by the way, I will say this, a lot of comedians that were coming, like up and coming too, like where he was, they're just like, okay, how the hell does this motherfucker begin to get recognition and within a year is making millions of dollars, when his stand-up wasn't even that good. He told the same fucking jokes, over and over, and then all of a sudden,
To be fair, they all tell the same jokes over and over, but I know what you mean.
yeah, so but that's what they said. That's not what I'm saying. You almost turned me into Vince Vaughn there. I'll be like, I don't know about it. I didn't see anything. Have you ever heard anything? I haven't heard anything.
Major pain after you cheated on his own.
Come here. So they all say that, that he began to like hang out with weird people, and that he was kind of like confiding in them, that he would do like weird stuff for cash, or weird stuff for small roles in movies and just things like that. And then next thing you know, he's a millionaire. He's in all these movies within like a couple of years, and they're like, how the hell did he did it? So they all start saying that he did some pretty gay stuff to get there. So yeah, that's what they said. I didn't say that, but that's what they said. And then
Allegedly, for everything.
Allegedly. Okay, so then Orlando Brown said, and I'm gonna use his lingo, right? He said he de-virginized his hole, he said, to get where he was at. And then they're like, can you elaborate? And he goes, no, I just told you. Well, what's the matter?
That's a crazy way to put it.
Yeah. He's like, no, I just told you. So, and then to me, the darkest accusation actually came forward when he said, Will Smith, how would you say that?
Assaulted him.
Assaulted his childhood.
Forcibly assaulted him.
Forcefully assaulted him. So, and then when he said it, it's almost like people didn't believe him, and people are like, he makes crazy. And then he starts screaming at them, like, you know what you did? You did, what you did to me. And it was like and part of me is like, is this part of the insanity? Or is he really speaking out of pain? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like in that moment, either he's a really good actor, or you're like, damn, he believes this happened,
There are a lot of interviews that are very weird. A lot of interviews of his, he does look kind of crazy. you know. And a lot of, you know, people in the comments are like, yeah, he's insane. And then the other half of the comments are like, he's telling the truth. That's why he's going crazy, you know?
I believe him.
I don't know. It's just when somebody has like a mugshot like this, like I'm very not like
that.
that.
Yeah,
No.
tell me what's up with that.
Yeah,
mugshot?
definitely not like that. Like this. It makes me question a little bit.
When somebody has a mugshot like that, that means that Will Smith did something to you.
Oh, jeez. Well, he said when he was a child.
Yeah, when he was a kid. So, but I mean, people are like, he's crazy. What did he just wake up one day and decide, you know what? I'm just gonna go fucking crazy.
I don't. Well, okay. So the whole like he's crazy. Like, yeah, sure. You know, I'm sure he has a lot of struggles. You know, with his mental health struggles. Because a lot of these like child actors do. A lot of these Disney people, Nickelodeon people, they all do. Not all. A lot of them.
A lot of them do.
Well, just some of them.
They all seem to have some kind of shitty story.
Yeah, it's just some of them. You know, like we're able to kind of
cope better.
Yeah, cope better, or kind of just like adapt to normal life better than others. Like other ones, I think just made too much money and they didn't know what to do with themselves. You know, they were teenagers. They didn't really have like a normal childhood. So it's kind of hard to adapt to like normalcy after leaving the spotlight.
You know what I almost said?
What?
So people said it's the Justin Bieber syndrome. Like, what happened? He was famous since he was a little kid, so that's why he went fucking crazy, and he started doing like these crazy things, and then you realize that he was at Diddy parties since he was really little.
He was really young.
Yeah, and then you're like, wait a minute.
It was like right after his YouTube days that he went to those like things, which is insane. He was really.
Those interviews are creepy. Like, have you seen that when he's?
There's videos of him like with that like group or whatever, like leaving or like getting in a car, or, like getting in a plane or something like that, and like he looks like he's, you know, messed up.
Yeah, and there's one where Diddy's like, remember, we're kicking it later tonight at the party, and he's like, yeah, and he's like, yeah.
Ew.
Yeah, well, and I was like, what the fuck is that?
Who's doing that?
P Diddy. We'll see. Have you ever seen P Diddy talk? He's always like, yeah. So we're gonna go to the studio, you know, and he always has his mouth open. He's always like licking his lips.
No, I avoid that.
Oh, you know who talks like that all the time? That drives me insane, but it's entertaining. LL Cool J. Have you ever seen him talk?
Yeah.
He's like, yeah. So we're gonna go down to the store. And we're gonna shoot these movies. And after we shoot these movies, and it's like, why are you doing that? Like, how chapped do you think his lips get after licking?
Oh, that's probably so bad.
So, but anyway, the point I was trying to make is you know, it's like, how did you get here? I don't think that you just go nuts one day and just like, all right, you know, there's got to be something fucked up, right? And you have to cope. And now you have the money, you have access to your money, and you're like, I'm sad. Now that I have money, I can buy all the meth in the world, you know? Jeez. And maybe that's what leads that path, is just that you're going and then you're doing all these, you know, whatever. So that's Orlando Brown. Somebody else is it the same? No, this is Orlando was Disney, right? This one's Nick Galonian. It was Amanda Bynes.
Yep. I feel bad for her, honestly, because like there's videos now with like her, she's kind of trying to live less publicly. And because, you know, like the majority of people know who she is, they kind of feel, it's like with all celebrities, you know, like some people kind of feel like entitled to go and like they can record them and they can, you know, like talk to them and they can do what, which like, sure, I guess if you want to record somebody or whatever, it's kind of weird, but like they tell you no. You know, there's a video that's up where she's like telling this man, you know, like, stop recording me, stop taking pictures of me, and he's just like, why, and he's like following her with a camera, and it's weird, you know, and it was recent too. It was
oh, this is recent.
Yeah, it was recent.
What's up with her hair lately? She looks like have you ever seen Matilda when she puts that like yellow dye in her dad's hat, and it's Danny DeVito, and he has his hair slicked back, and that's what her hair looks like.
And it's like, I don't know, she has like a weird haircut. She's had recently, the past like couple haircuts that she's had have been kind of weird.
Yeah,
But
it's bizarre. It's like she gets her hair cut by like Edward Scissorhands, and he's suffering through arthritis.
jeez. Yeah, when
Um,
she looks a lot different than when she was little. So this is her younger,
yeah,
cute little kid. And then, she started going through like all this
yeah,
stuff. She had a lot of struggles mentally in like 2012, 2014. She ended up going to psychiatric hospital for like a hold. And then her parents got conservatorship. She like started acting out. She started putting up a bunch of weird like tweets. She like set fire to a stranger's driveway, like
and
all
set
these
her
things.
pants on fire.
Her pants on fire. It's crazy.
What a
So,
liar!
wait, yeah, right. Pants on fire and everything. And so she ended up getting like a conservatorship, whatever. Her thing ended in 2022. It was 9 years long. It was a lot.
Yeah, it was crazy. It's that's another one that she was in movies. She was on that show, and what was that? The name of that first show? It was
All that.
All That.
And then she had the Amanda show.
And then she had the Amanda show. So it's that fucking guy, the
Dan Schneider.
Dan. Do people call him Dirty Dan? That sounds like a position they do. Like, who's ready for the Dirty Dan? So he goes and they like pour slime all over your head, and you're all green.
He did so many weird things. She never accused him of that. There's a video going around that says that she's accusing him of getting her pregnant when she was 13, but she came out and was like, I never said that. That's not true. Like, I don't know what that is.
What was the source of this? They did not say a source.
It was just like on TikTok somewhere, or like on Twitter somewhere.
Do you think maybe she said it like into one of her like drug-induced days, and somebody just put it out there?
I don't know, because when she was going through all her stuff in like the early 2010s, the early teens, she did say some stuff. She accused her dad of abusing her, multiple types of abuse, and then she like 2 or 3 hours later came out and was like, okay, like, it's not true.
I wonder what do you think that here's a crazy conspiracy. I'm huge into conspiracies.
Yeah.
What if she put out that tweet? She's like, he did all these things to me, and then 3 hours later she has her dad comes with like a picture of like Dan, and he's like, you want to go back to this, man? You better take that back, that fuking tweet. You're gonna have your feet tickled, squirt guns are gonna be all in your face. She's like, oh fuck. But that guy was a fucking weirdo. So also he was mean. Like, that's one thing that everybody says.
Mm-hmm.
So
that's actually why they let him go. They fired him.
I didn't know they fired him. I just thought that he went back to his dimension.
Nope. Nickelodeon ended their like thing with him because they did an investigation, and he was being emotionally and verbally abusive to like the staff.
So in the show All That, there was a girl that was like the star before Amanda, right? And she began to kind of age out, I guess, because she was like a little kid, and then she started to enter through puberty, and she started to gain weight. And allegedly, this is according to the document. There's a documentary out there, but apparently he started to like shame her, telling her she's getting fat and all these kind of things. And she basically says, hey, you need to lose weight, so go work on yourself, then come back. So she went. I guess she like threw up and like did whatever she had to do, because that was their solution. Like, just become bulimic, you'll be fine.
Yeah.
So she came back like a couple months later, and then Amanda was there, and basically this guy started treating her like dog shit, like even worse. And because she basically like he found a replacement.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that the issue with that is that now I don't know what, besides the emotional like abuse that she was suffering from this guy, I don't know what else was going on, but it seemed like then he turned his attention to Amanda. And there's a lot of weird pictures out there, like of him where they're sitting really close in the car. She's almost sitting in his lap in like this couch.
Yeah.
you know, and it's not like she's sitting there, he's got his arm around her and he's holding her so tight, she's like almost in his lap, you know. And
there's pictures of him like that with a lot of the Nickelodeon like kids, you know. And I know that some of them did accuse him of being inappropriate, like making, I guess, like sexually inappropriate jokes around them, or just kind of like being weird, you know. Like the staff also was like, oh, he asks for like shoulder massages and stuff, and
massage
like
my shoulder.
weird. Yeah, it's
Here,
weird.
no, use the gack. Do you remember gack?
Ew,
It was
yeah.
like, yeah, use the
I
gack. Oh, I just remember the commercials. I didn't have cable growing up, so like all the
like
stuff.
Is it in the weird shape?
Yeah, it was in a weird shape. Gack, you know, like hit your mom in the face with it, you know. I'm like, but take it out of the plastic first. So
what?
So anyway, so you begin to kind of see that kind of stuff, and then the amount, I can only imagine the amount of pressure that you get, you know, because like I said, there was, you know, stories where they would film 3 shows. Like people think that like this is a 3 weeks worth of, like this was all done in a day. So they would do several episodes in one day. I know somebody that would do that. So several episodes in one day. So she was a little kid, and that's what's gross. Like, I guess she was tired. You okay?
Sorry. Yeah, I just remember. Okay, go. I just remembered something.
So she was tired, right? And then they would give her coffee, like have some coffee, here's some caffeine pills, like wake the fuck up, and then get back. Beef tips, we're back. So yeah, and then she would look tired, and you know, people were saying that he was screaming like, you look tired, don't look so tired, you know. And like, because she would show up and she would be like unenthused. Like there's some episodes, I guess, where she looks kind of put out and like the smile is fake, and they're saying like she's really, really tired.
Yeah, well, they were overworked. Like, I think because they were children, and like these kids' parents, I think were a huge part of the problem. Not that hers were, I don't know what hers were like, but a lot of these kids had parents that were like, just do it, you know, like don't complain, blah blah blah. Like the next mortgage we're gonna talk about. Yeah, for real. Pay our rent, keep going. And like the parents were a huge problem because they let it happen. You know, there was this one girl, she was in Victorious, and she said that her mom was very against what they were doing. So like the first sign of any like type of like they yelled at her or like they looked at her wrong or whatever, she'd be like, nope, like we're out of here. And they'd be like, okay, fine, like we'll stop, just bring her back, you know. She was one of the main ones in the show. And so like her mom actually did, you know, like protect her, but there were a lot of them that like they just let these kids, like, you know, be overworked. She was how old? She was like what, like 13 or something?
Amanda? I think she was 11
when she would, like, when they were doing all this crazy
when they were doing the stuff. And you know, some people said that they were recording from 8 in the morning until like 3 something in the morning. Like that is insane.
It's
you know. And then they're like, well, you know, we're gonna take an hour break because Dan is sleeping. It's like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
You know.
And then they like hardly eat too, I'm sure, because they're like, don't eat, because then you'll look bloated. Yeah, like they needed these kids to look, I guess, like their best or whatever all the time. So they kind of just, I think they just like constantly had them, you know, like starving and don't drink this and don't do this, you know.
Do you think that's why he was like so big, was because they had like the green room with a big spread of food and they weren't eating it? So he's like, well, can't let this go to waste. You know, probably. All he survived off of was like green room food and feet. Oh my God. And also this dude, do you have Noseboy?
Oh my God.
So there was people. Huh?
Okay, go. Tell the story, because
so there was an actor, I don't remember his name. I gotta remember, guys, I didn't have cable as a kid, so I didn't watch any of this, right? So there was this actor, and he was like really self-conscious about the way he looked because he was beginning to grow up too, and he started putting on like a little bit of weight, and they're like, we got this idea, we're gonna put you in this super tight costume. And he talked about how he was supposed to be nose boy and he had like this nose, whatever. But then the costume was weird, and then he didn't want to say anything because he's like, what if they laugh at me? Because what if it's not this? Like, it just looks weird to me. And he heard.
He also said, before you tell this, he said he was scared. Yeah. I don't know if this was before or after he heard what you're going to say, but he was scared to say anything about the costume because he's like, what if they don't let me be on the show if I say something, if I complain or whatever. So what did they call this wonderful costume?
They told him, they're like, yeah, okay, go put on your dick costume.
You guys want to see the costume?
Jeez Louise.
I cut his face out because he was a child, okay? Oh my God. Like it says Captain Big on it.
Yeah.
Captain Big Nose, I assume.
Captain Big something. So they're like, hey, go put on your dick costume. And then he's like, and then he was like, now he was embarrassed, And
you know what his superpower was? You remember?
He sneezed on people, right?
He sneezed on people, and then they would, pan the camera over, and it just goop
covered
all over their face,
in cum,
covered in mucus,
covered in a slimy substance. So, anyway, so he was talking about how embarrassing it was, and then he heard the staff laughing at him. Like, hey, look at his dick costume. So then that's what it became the nickname. Hey, go put on your dick costume. Imagine saying that to a little kid.
Imagine being that little kid.
Yeah, imagine being that little kid and you're saying these things to him like, hey, go get your dick costume on. And then you're wearing, because at that age, when you're a grown, let's say that you're a frat boy. Hey, bro, I'm going to go get on my dick costume. It's funny, right? Because you're an adult and you're an idiot. When you're a little kid, that's embarrassing. That's a private area that you have all over you, And not only is this what it looks like, but they're talking and laughing at me.
And it's not like he was young enough to where he wouldn't understand the joke. He was old enough to know.
He was old enough to understand. Old enough to understand, young enough to, not have a say, be intimidated, be scared. So,
and he knew it was weird because he said there's a part of the documentary. I don't think I can put it on here because it was, but that documentary, he's talking about it and he's saying, like, I felt uncomfortable. I didn't want to wear it, but I was scared to say anything. So he put it on anyway. And then like it sucks like that these kids have to, not have to, but feel like they have to do these things to be able
they're
to
under contractual obligations too. So like you got to understand. Tell the parents too, like, by the way, if their kid doesn't want to do something, we can sue you. And then now the pressure of the parents, like, fuck. It's like trying to get out of a contract with
crazy.
With Rod. So no, so it's one of those things where you're like, fuck, man, look at that guy seems okay, by the way. Yeah, when you look at this kid, this poor guy, he grew up right, and he looks fine, he looks okay, but it's a painful memory. Obviously, he looks back, he's like, fuck.
Because when he's talking about it, you can see it in his face, like that he remembers, the feeling of how it bothered him, because like he was a kid. Stuff that happens like when you're a kid, like you very vividly remember traumatic things like that.
Damn, you guys should check out a compilation of fucked up jokes that they had on that show. And a lot of it was hit. Like, he thought it was funny. He was also a pervert. A lot of things. These were kids.
He talking about Dan, not the nose boy guy.
Yeah, no, it was nose boy. What a pervert. He walked around with dicks on his shoulder. Like, he can go fuck himself.
So
with the costume. No, so yeah, like this guy Dan, like all those jokes, like if you go look, you're like, damn, these are kids, and you're making them do and say these things, and they're young, and they may not get it, But what are the parents? Like, the parents have to watch the show with the kids on, right?
Yeah. Well, a lot of them are there, like while they're filming. They're like on set. They're in the background. I guess it's like this, it's the same thing. The whole like, well, like if they don't go along with it, we don't. We can't be on the show.
You can't be on the show. And guess what? Guess who owes us? We're supposed to pay $50,000 for this. And guess who owes me that money now? Because we're not going to get it because your kid is not cooperating. You're going to give it to us.
Crazy.
So put on the nose costume. Anyway, no, it's just so shitty. So you have Amanda Bynes going through these things. And I think that this is my opinion. I think more things happen backstage than she lets on for whatever reason, because you don't get that fucked up, right?
Yeah.
Like out of nowhere.
Okay, so there's two pictures side by side. The first one is like 2014-15, and then the other one, you'll see which one, the one where she looks more different, is from last month. It's like November 23rd. I've heard a couple things. So
I like it. It's a great haircut. I like it. I think it's a great haircut.
She has it okay, so here actually is different than what it was before, I think. I think here she has it shorter. I'm not completely sure. But so with her whole look, it's a little out there. I don't know how true this is, but I just read that apparently she had said, she had been abused by people or whatever, and that she was doing these things to herself to like make herself unattractive to men. I don't know if she actually said that or if this is another one of those things.
Yeah, but it makes sense. I mean, fuck. I mean, you go to Donald Trump's barber and you're like, just give me that.
Yeah.
But no, but it makes sense because a lot of victims in that sense that have been abused in a certain way, they're afraid to like, okay, I looked this way before and this happened. If I don't look like this anymore, fuck, look at Luna from wrestling, right? You look at what her face. Yeah. So there was a wrestler who was being abused by not just the lady that was her handler, the one that would pass her around promotions, but by the guys that she would like had around her, like the guys that owned the sporting arenas that they would wrestle. She would give them away for a night, and then they would go because the guys basically would choose the girl. And if you look at pictures before,
Moolah that was doing that.
Yep, the fabulous Moolah.
We have a video on that.
Yeah, so you guys should check that one out. So what she ended up doing was I think she died of an overdose. Anyway, so she ended up freezing water bottles and she would press them like hard against her face so that her face would get scar tissue to make it look tougher. And she ended up like if you look at pictures of what she looked like when she was young and then pictures of a completely different person. Yeah. Right, because she looked more feminine, more round, her face, and then she like fucked up her hair, made her like did it to her eyebrows, look like fucking big, like protrusion. It was fucking weird, and she did
basically just like hardened her entire face.
Yes, hardened her face,
like a layer of something.
Yeah, and it's sad because she looked adorable, and it's like, oh, look at her. She looks like, she could be, whatever, like played on a TV show where she's like, here's my daughter, because she was young, right? She was like 16 when she ran away and I started doing that shit. And so she did that to herself because she wanted to be picked less. She wanted to be, looked at like, oh, I don't want that one. But because Moolah would abuse them too. And then Moolah stopped having an interest in her once she did that to herself. So it's just so gross. So with Amanda, like, that's why I say, like, the way that she looks, you don't just wake up one day and like, I'm gonna fuck myself up,
Yeah.
So,
yeah, but apparently now she's, I guess, like working on herself. She's living, privately. Doesn't really want to be doing all like the crazy stuff. There's been, like people that see her in public, they take pictures and they just like kind of post them. They're like, I didn't go say hi, which is weird to like post a video of somebody and then be like, but I didn't go say hi. Like, no, you just took a picture of her and posted it online, but whatever. There's another girl that's like, she went into my work. She's really nice. She's, normal, blah, blah, blah. So I think maybe she's, she's been kind of
she's been getting better. I'm over here slinking away as if
I know.
As if I'm embarrassed. Like, damn.
All I saw was your hat.
Yeah, all you see is like the top of my head and my beard sticking out. And my stupid gay cat like on top of my head. Anyway, so where is he? I don't know. Titan.
Tell him I'm calling.
I don't know where he is. He's somewhere. So yeah, so that's one thing. And then here we have the other. This is probably the most famous one because I think she's the one that opened up the the floodgates, right? Because it seemed like after she was kind of like talking about it, more people started coming out and be like, I was an actress in this era too, you know, and I experienced. Can you tell the audience who's this actress?
It's Judy Garland. Dorothy. Judy Garland.
Judy Garland. So, damn, you know what's crazy? There she is. Look how adorable she looks.
I know. I feel so bad.
So, okay.
She was so young.
So, you know, she was young, and because she was young, they wanted her to look younger. They're like, you need to look a lot younger. So how do we do that? Stop eating.
Yep.
So, and her mom kind of helped them too. You know, her mom was kind of like working on her at home, be like, hey, look, you know, you want to be skinny for this role. Instead of having dinner tonight, you should have cigarettes. Yep. You know, so they gave her I don't think a doctor, but maybe the doctors back then. Yep. Well, let me tell you something, Judy Garland. I'll tell you what you need. You need a pack of smokes and a good old line of cocaine.
Oh, wouldn't they like prescribe whiskey for babies and stuff? Weird.
Yeah, for toothaches. For toothaches, what you do is you take whiskey. You put the thing in the whiskey, like a little handkerchief or a nap, whatever, and then you put it in the baby's mouth and you hold it there. And then that's supposed to like help them not be in pain anymore.
Yeah.
Because now their gum is directly absorbing the alcohol.
Yeah, but that's crazy.
It's horrible for them.
In like the Mexican community, I guess. It's like a thing. I don't know if people do it still. Or whiskey, but I don't know if people do it still. I think that's whiskey. Gross. Like Mexican. Yeah, I think it's insane to like do that. But they're like, oh yeah, just put some, you know, like on your finger or whatever, and just like rub it on their gums. No, like ew.
But first, baby, eat the worm, is it?
Give them the worm to chew on it. They won't be teething anymore.
Yeah, it'll be yeah, it's a teether.
It's sleep.
Look, he's sleeping. You say, wake up, fucker.
He's fine. Just tired.
Anyway, so. Yeah, so that's the diet that was prescribed to her. I don't know who did it, but somebody's like, this is what you need. You only need 3 things, right? You need cigarettes, you need cocaine, and coffee, right?
Yep. 2 other things. If it wasn't, you know, snorting things, they would give her pep pills. So they'd give her, you know, pills to like keep her awake because she would film for like 16, 17, 18 hours at a time.
You know what was in those?
I read it. I don't remember.
Caffeine and cocaine.
Oh, how nice. So they would give her these pills, and then whenever it was time for her to sleep, they'd give her a sedative so that she would crash out and be ready in the morning after, you know, 4 hours of sleep or whatever.
Yeah, so and the horrors were not just at home. It wasn't, you know, the mom, the directors was like, look, this is what you need to do. If she's hungry, just give her a cigarette. If she's, you know, and people that knew her were saying that it's like they were watching her die. You know, her skin, they had to put a lot of makeup on. Like in some scenes that she almost looks like a clown because of how much makeup. It's because her skin was turning gray.
I have a video of her. Found it a video of her like in the movie, and you can see that she looks kind of weird. Like, look at her face.
Yeah, you know? Her eyes look sunken in.
And in this scene, or like here while she's filming, I think she was like 14 or 15, and she was smoking. Like,
look at her hands.
Yeah,
that's you know what they call that? You know what they call. Yeah.
Insane. I think they were given when it came to cigarettes, because obviously this is not, you know, cigarettes, but when it came to cigarettes, she was smoking. I think they said like a pack a day, and then later on it moved up to like 2 or 3 packs a day.
You know what that they call that in the drug community? White knuckling. It's like when you're like your knuckles are just white from how hard you're clenching. What's sad is that if you replay that scene, there's a moment where she can't focus and her eyes are just going around. She looks like, you know, she's seeing something, and then a lot of that comes from sleep deprivation. That's you start begin to have hallucinations.
Yeah.
And that's what it looks like. That poor girl. And what sucks is that you're getting that on set, right? You get that on set, and then you get to go home, like where you think it's like, oh, what a hard day's work, and then your mom's like, don't you dare sleep. Have some cigarettes. Here's some pills. You know, you're supposed to be up. And the doctor said only 30 minutes sleep.
Yeah. So apparently, the like director would make fun of her all the time, and I think it was like the head, like the studio, I don't know, whatever it was, the main like dude. And he would like grab her like by the face, and he would like tell her like right in her face, like you're not pretty, like you're not good enough, like you need to like lose weight, and like you're fat, and like that one of them would call her like my little fat one, like they would call her like all these names. And
yeah, they'd call her look, here comes our piggy.
Her mom would say like, you're not pretty enough, like just do whatever they say, don't complain, you know,
be a good girl, just be a good girl, you know. And it's just it's what okay, so here's what's really sad is the fact that she also talked about sexual misconduct that was going around by the director. The director would grope her. The director would sometimes they would have, and this is of course this she tells this story. What the fuck am I saying? Like, you guys can some of the old interviews, and she wrote a book and all these kind of things. So
all these people are dead.
Yeah, they're all dead. So anyway, she said that he would have the director of the film was there, the people that were, you know, that they had this, they owned the studio. You know, they owned the studio, the people that were running the advertisement, the people, all these people were in a room, and they would all just grope her and like force them to sit to the star of the movie. You would think that nowadays the star is the one that tells the director, like, pull your pants down, you little bitch. Like, oh, okay.
Jeez.
You know,
apparently munchkins.
Yeah, come on, James Gunn. So they would basically grope her, and they would do all these things to her. And they said that she told the story about how one of the directors like forcibly held her down on his lap, you know, and she was so weak from not eating, from not sleeping, that she didn't have the strength to get up, and they were laughing and doing all these things. And even the munchkins were get drunk on set, you know, do cocaine, and they would begin to like grope her. Somebody's fuck, it's so nasty to say. Somebody said that one of them grabbed her and started to like dry hump her, you know, and everybody thought it was, the director thought it was hilarious. And then she goes and she complains to her mom that she's suffering and all these things. And then her mom tells her that just means that you're pretty.
That's, you know, so gross.
And how mind shattering, you know, for your own, somebody that's supposed to protect you. And fuck, it's hard when you imagine that the person that's supposed to love you and protect you, and you know, they're the ones that are doing the most harm, and then you don't know at the time that there's something wrong. No, it's rough because like like her mom was doing these things, like the mom was helping them, you know. And I guess it's one thing for like when you look at the other kids, like in certain things, like the mom allowing this kind of stuff to happen. When it's your mom that's, you know, that's helping them, and that she's the biggest voice in your head to kind of like, you know, it's gotta be fucking rough. And fuck,
at that age, I'm sure that it has to be crazy, you know, because at 14, 15, like, you know that these things are wrong, you know, when you're smaller, like let's say like some of the other, I guess, like what's his face, Orlando Brown, he was like what, like 9 when that other stuff happened, was like, robbing trailer, 8 or 9.
I think when he was in I think he might have been younger than that. You gotta look that up. Is that
Orlando Brown, 7 or 8. Me.
Yeah, that's crazy.
7 or 8. And so for him to remember, for him to be the age that he was when he told that story, and he was 7 or 8 when it happened, can you imagine what it's like being older, let's say 14, 15, and your mom is like pushing you to take all these pills, and she's like, just let it happen, like who cares? The munchkins are like sticking their hands up her skirt, nobody's saying anything. The munchkins are like, I can get away with it, you know, because I'm tiny or whatever. It's
they had their own league.
Hold on, that's not just me saying that, so don't. It was in her ex-husband's book that he didn't finish before he died. That's what, you know, that's what she said. She said that they thought they could get away with it because of their size. And that I guess she never like brought it up because she was scared that they were going to say something to her or that they weren't going to let her continue or whatever it was. But apparently there was, a lot of like really inappropriate things. They would all get drunk. They would all whatever.
Wild little things, I think is what she described them as.
Yeah, like wild little drunks, I think she said, which is insane because like, how do you go on set of a movie like that? And she was probably so excited when she started.
Yeah, that's what's sad is that you have the opportunity to be in a movie. They're like, you're gonna be the star of the show.
Yeah.
And this happens.
And then this happens. And it had to have started from the very beginning. Like she thinks that it's gonna be, this like crazy, like fun experience or whatever, and immediately they start like, well, you're too big. Like you need to lose weight. You need to be prettier. You're not
and
elegant.
She was tiny. Like she,
Mm-hmm. Like look, I mean, that is not overweight at all.
Do you think that they were saying that to her because they did believe that she was overweight? Do you think it was a form of like control?
It's a control thing. There's no way that they thought that she was overweight.
And I heard she didn't make that much money off the fucking movie. I heard that she got like, you got to look that up. How much money did she make?
You know who else actually that happened to with like the money thing? Shirley Temple.
Yeah, damn.
That could be like a whole thing on its own.
That could be a whole thing. Like,
she, her dad spent it all. He made like really bad investments. So by the time that she was like old enough, I think it said that she had like $30,000 left out of everything that she made.
Fuck bad investments. I can only imagine a type of thing. Come on, Shirley. By the year, by the 90s, everyone's gonna wear propeller hats.
Oh my god! So I'm searching the Judy Garland thing, and the first question that came out was how much did Judy Garland weigh? She was 98 pounds. Insane. She made $500 a week for Wizard of Oz, totaling around 9,600.
Jeez Louise. How much did the director make?
The director, his pay isn't as detailed, but it says that he got around $10,000 for directing the principal photography.
So that's just directing, right?
Yeah, he made more than $10,000 for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
So
and he wasn't abused.
Yeah, and he wasn't. Yeah, he probably got to do the cocaine anyway. So yeah, with the Munchkins. So back then they had like the midget league, and they were like this group of everybody that was member of this thing. That's why all these. What should we call them? Just midgets. They were all.
All these Munchkins.
Yeah, the Munchkins. So the Munchkins are all mad at Peter Dinklage because they say that he took all those roles. Where
oh my god, I don't like that man.
Yeah, Peter. Why? Because he looks weird.
I don't know. I think.
You know what's? I'm gonna say something.
Oh god.
Have you ever seen the Avengers Endgame? No, it's Infinity War. Infinity War. Thor's getting Stormbreaker, and so he goes to this planet to the guy that made his hammer, and he wants him to make another hammer that's so powerful. It's called Stormbreaker. By the way, in the comic books, that hammer was specifically designed to kill Thor, and it belonged to a guy named Better Ray Bill, and hence the name Stormbreaker. It's meant to kill Thor is the god of thunder. So. Yeah. So anyway, Peter Dinklage is in that as a giant. So he's over there as a giant, and he's like hammering these things, but he still has like you could tell that they just took him and just like enlarged him. So the whole time I'm watching this scene, I'm like, holy shit, it's a giant midget.
They didn't change.
They didn't give him longer arms. They didn't give him a smaller head. Nope, the same. Just the same. They just enlarged them. They took like a picture and they went. Whoop.
Oh man!
It looked like he stood really close to the camera because he wants to appear normal, and you could tell in the background that people are like, "Hey, wait a minute." He's standing.
It was like those optical illusions when you.
Yeah, sit on the palm of my hand. Anyway, so I guess that's why they're mad at him. Like you have all these people. Like the hell's his name? Brian something. He's also like a munchkin. He's like famous, and there's other munchkins out there that said that as soon as he became an actor, he took all of their jobs. And
But I mean, that's not his fault.
well, it is because he said, "Listen to me. If you want me to make these movies, you're only gonna cast me and no one else. When you have the role of somebody that you want him to sit in a thimble, you only call me or I
Hey,
quit."
if he, he's the one that said, the other ones could have said it too.
Yeah, but I mean, I guess that with Game of Thrones, they gave him a lot of power.
Yeah. It was like sought after.
Yeah, I'm king forever. So anyway, so these people had these munchkins. They had a lot of control because of that. So and these guys, not only did they fulfill roles as munchkins, but they were also like, if you had the role of a,
I don't know. Okay, it's because you keep calling them munchkins, and so I just keep imagining them all dressed as
the Lollipop Guild.
Yeah, the Lollipop.
Hey, this is what we want.
Yeah.
They're
just all like in Game of Thrones. That's how he's.
Yeah, like, here we are. I am the king. Anyway, so and he's wearing like the stupid wig, Anyway, so so I mean, these people were in Willy Wonka. These people were in. There was a movie out there that you should check out. I think it's free on YouTube. Actually, it's called like Hell Comes to Little Town or something like that. It's a cast, and this guy who's doing the introduction to the movie, he's like, everybody's clapping. He's like, I would like to welcome everybody to this special presentation where the cast are all midgets. And then he said, and then but here's what's gross. Okay, so in this movie, if you watch it, they're all munchkins, right? And there's a scene when they're in a saloon, and here comes like the saloon whore, and she's like dancing and she's singing and she's like sitting on men's laps and she's like touching their face. That wasn't a munchkin. That was a 5-year-old girl.
Oh no.
That was a 5-year-old girl, and she's sitting on men's laps. Anyway, so you look at this kind of girl, and it falls into the same category. Like, if you do that at that age, what else are you doing, right? What else are they having you do? How do you live your life? Like seriously, like how is it that you're supposed to have a normal life when your childhood was doing stuff like this? And damn well that this is only what Judy Garland talks about. Imagine what other stuff that they made her do or the way they treated her,
See, because she never came out with it on her own. Like, she never came out with the whole, like, they touched me and they did all this and whatever.
Yeah.
She did say that, like, some of the people were inappropriate to her or whatever, or with her, but it was her ex-husband that was like, she told me these things, like, in the book or whatever, and then he died and didn't even finish it. So who even knows what else?
Was that he get killed by the munchkins? They're like, get him! They're all like reaching up his skirt, and he's like, ah! Anyway. When you look at this kind of stuff, it's like, if you look at it like, kids, they may be a little difficult to work with, but they're easy to manipulate. They're easy to do all these things, and that's why you do. Or it's just a disgusting, abuse of power over somebody that that you can have power over, or is it, the satanic Illuminati in Hollywood, wanting to destroy kids' lives because it feeds them. Like there's that
bad parents,
Yeah, well, yeah. So it's just so dark because these are kids. In the end, these are just children, and it's like,
how do you do that?
Oh shit! Really quick before we close out the show, this episode is
what?
Oh, this episode is brought to you by Shadow Nation podcast. Shaun Burris. This is the man that would not abuse Judy Garland. So check out his show. Children. Or any other children. It's like not just her. She's bad. So yeah, check out Groceries and Ghosts. A great podcast. Great show. Check him out. Shadow Nation podcast on YouTube and .com. Also brought to you by Dreamscape Chronicles. You guys want to check out some eerie shit with very sensual voices? Check out Dreamscape. Dreamscape Chronicles. Also brought to you by Static Voices. Nate, what?
No, I'm just. Go ahead.
Nate, the man with the book. A brand new book. Check it out. It's called Downloading the Paranormal Things for All Your Needs When You Have to Get a Zapple Off Your Back. Link in the description. Also brought to you by Paranormal Unveiled. His show, right?
Yeah. Same person.
Paranormal Unveiled, yeah. Also brought to you by yeah, we have a lot of friends. Render the Darkness. You guys want a couple crazy sisters that talk so much shit and cover all the paranormal and mysteries and all that stuff. Check them out. Also, links will also be in the description. So, anyway, so we're gonna finish out this show, close it out. So, the whole point, it's so dark because when you watch these documentaries, when you read about these stories, when you see all these things that are happening, and then you look at what happened, you're like, fuck. You're like, these poor kids. But also, it's like, how the hell can you do this to anybody? Not just even worse that they're kids, but like, how can you do this to a person?
Yeah.
That's
what's crazy.
It's nuts. It's like you have no soul.
No.
But
it's the kid part that like bothers me the most. Like, how do you
do you do this to a kid?
How do you sleep at night knowing that you did all these things during the day?
I was at the Trump thing when they asked him, like, how do you sleep at night? And he was like, naked next to a supermodel. Why? How do you sleep at night?
It's so stupid.
I like it. Naked next to a supermodel. Why? How do you sleep at night? And he went, before he answered the question, he went, you know how he does that?
Yeah. His weird mouth thing.
I sleep naked next to a supermodel. How do you sleep at night?
Insane.
Wow, I can't believe it. These guys. Anyway, I wouldn't have cried. So it's but yeah, that's what's dark is the fact that they're kids, and instinctually what you want to do is protect them, right?
Mm-hmm.
Want to make sure they're okay. When you're the monster that's hurting them, it's like, what the fuck? Like, seriously.
There has to be something wrong with you.
This is why Jakku made y'all at a dog.
This is why what?
I'm gonna say it.
Okay, go. Oh. Still don't know what you said.
In African culture, there was this god named Jakku who made people like out of fire, out of smoke. But there was a group of people out there which they see them as inferior, and they believe that Jakku created them out of dog shit. Anyway, so you get a lot of like those people from like Harlem that wear like the dashikis and they're like, this is why I hate white people, and they do that kind of shit. Anyway, so that's it. So remember, guys, to always look both ways, especially when you're no longer in Kansas.